morning. We're back again. The sun isn't up yet, but you know what? It's going to be a great day. And this morning, we're going to talk about beliefs one more time, but today I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take you through an exercise right out of my playbook, my training program. Can't go through all of it, but enough of this exercise to get you thinking about where your beliefs come from, how to identify them, how to take responsibility for them, and possibly start changing them. Okay? So welcome to the Manual to Life project and the More Factor. By the way, the More Factor will be launching in just a few short days. I'm almost finished setting everything up. It's exciting. So, anyway, let's get into this today. If you got time, get a piece of paper and pen and take some notes so you can do these exercises possibly by yourself, or make a note and takes 10-15 minutes later on today, rewatch this video and play along with me, because I'm going to pretend that you're actually answering me, okay? That you're actually following along with what I'm doing. So, number one, again, and I've said it before, the very first principle to anyone's success is taking responsibility for your words, your actions in your life, or at least acting as if you are responsible for all of that. Okay? So, number one, I want you to repeat these sentences after me, just to get you used to saying stuff like this, okay? I am tired of being alone. It's your turn. Say with me. I am tired of being alone. I want more friends. So let's say that as a full phrase. I am tired of being alone and I want more friends. There's a reason we're saying these sentences in this manner, okay? Secondly, when I am afraid, I withdraw myself and avoid contact. When I'm afraid, I withdraw myself and avoid contact. Your turn. I keep myself lonely because I do not ask for what I want. Or we can say it this way. I keep myself lonely by not asking for what I want. I keep myself lonely by not asking for what I want. Okay, so you've repeated those things. Now, I want you to ask me something. Two things. Obviously, we're not having a dialogue here, but let's pretend we are. I would like you to say this. Fred, I would like to join you for lunch. Okay, good. Perfect, I would love to join you for lunch. When can we set up a time? Secondly, I want you to say this. Fred, I want to be able to call you for advice. Can I do that? It's your turn. Sure you can. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help whoever I can help. Let's set up a time and date, and let's see what we can work out. Now, Wasn't that easy? Now, let's go to the next step here. Now, this is all a process, and I can't go through the whole process. There's pages and pages here in the process. This would be something I do in a group setting or a one-on-one coaching setting, but it's nonetheless the same process. When you're trying to determine your negative beliefs, that's what we're talking about this week. Taking your negative beliefs, identifying them, claiming them, owning them, being responsible for them, and then being willing to say, okay, this is what I have believed, this is what I want to believe about this topic. How do I get from here to here? Okay? So when you're determining what it is that's in your past is blocking you, here's something that a lot of people will say. They'll go like this. They're talking to themselves, and they'll talk to themselves in the third person. You know how you feel when you make a mistake. See, they're talking in the third person to themselves. But when we're dealing with this type of depth in our soul, you can't refer to yourself in the third person. It doesn't have the effectiveness. You have to be willing to take responsibility. And it can be painful, trust me. Some mornings when I'm trying to deal with something in myself, I had to wrestle with it. Thank God that I've got these tools to help me, but so it's still a process. So here's, instead of saying you know how you feel when you make a mistake, talking to yourself. Say this to yourself. I feel really stupid when I make a mistake. Or I feel like a failure when I make a mistake. Or I feel like I want to go and hide myself when I make a mistake. Do you see the difference? You're owning the emotion. You're owning the response. And you're owning the negative action. It's very important. Very important. Okay? When you go to determine the negative belief in your life, you need to ask yourself, number one, what circumstance makes me feel fear, anger, lack of self-confidence, those negative emotions that we feel sometimes, okay? What makes me feel that? And then tell yourself, okay, when this happens, I feel this. Fill in the blanks, when blank happens, I feel blank. Okay? Fill in those blanks. That'll get you right where you need to be to answer the question of what is negative in your life. So, when you answer that question, when a circumstance happens, I feel. Okay? This. When you answer that question, write it down and then press play here. Okay? Because these questions are going to build upon that answer. When this circumstance happens, I feel like, or I feel like doing this thing. The fear comes, whatever happens, this negative emotion builds up in me. Let me ask you this. How are you creating that? What? I'm not creating that. Yes, you are. You're the one with the emotion. You're the one with the negative thought process. You're the one with the negative belief. You're the one with it. The person that is causing the circumstance that's lifting that emotion up did not create that in you. You created that in you. Whatever belief system you have created that emotion and created that response. So you have to take responsibility. How are you creating that negative emotion in that circumstance? Okay? Secondly, what are you avoiding in those circumstances? What are you avoiding? I know that when I've got some bad finances on the go and I'm trying to fix things in my life and certain phone numbers come up, what am I avoiding? I'm avoiding dealing with the situation. So what do I have to do? I have to lean into it. I have to swallow my fear, pick up the phone, and talk to the people and make a plan. That's the only way it gets resolved. But that fear stops me from making the plan. So I have to lean into it. I have to just swallow the fear, own it, and pick up the phone and talk to the people anyway. One more thing, because I've gone way over time this morning. What are you pretending not to know? This is key. But it's not my fault. They're the one that did it. What are you pretending not to know? Seriously. Stop complaining. Stop blaming others. Take 100% responsibility for what you're going through right now. And what are you pretending not to know? But it's not my fault. Yes, it's your belief. It's not the other person's belief. It's your belief. It's your negative belief about a specific event or time or circumstance in your life that is causing you to feel that way, to act that way, to choose those actions. So what are you pretending not to know? Well, up until recently, I was pretending not to realize that I had a bad attitude about finances, that I had a lot of negative resentment about money from my past. So, what did I do? I took responsibility for that negative emotion, that negative attitude, and I started dealing with it. I got most of those negative emotions gone now, but I still have a few that pop up every now and again. But again, the tools to take care of the situation. Okay, now, before we go, and I know I'm taking a lot of your time this morning, and I'm sorry about that. When you're looking for belief systems, good or bad, positive or negative, doesn't really matter. You got to look at 3 areas of awareness, okay? 3 areas. Number 1, outside, which is outside your body. Your smells, your sights, what do those things bring up within you? What emotions do they lift up? Number 2, inside, which of course is your inside your body, your personal emotions, your attitudes, your way you think, your belief system. These things are inside of you. And thirdly, we call it the BMZ. In other words, it's stuff that you've made up, but you're not necessarily aware that it's made up. It's just like things that you do without even thinking about it. Imagined stories about your life, imagined meanings about things that happened in your life. We do it all the time. Well, they must not really like me anymore because they haven't called me in a week. Well, you just made that up. Maybe they're busy, maybe something happened in their life. You didn't call them. But we make up a story because we don't want to take responsibility. If you have a friend that you haven't talked to in a while, guess what? The phone works both ways. See, we make up stories to make ourselves feel better. So 3 areas of awareness: outside, inside, and made up stories. So make a distinction between the reality and the imagination. So ask yourself some serious questions. Go over this video again. Write down these questions. I've just barely scratched the surface in some of these exercises this morning in just a couple minutes, but I really want you to have the skills to take care of your negative beliefs. So that's where the more factor is going to come into play. I'm going to tell you more about that in a couple of days, probably early next week. I'll just take a video and explain what's going on, and possibly give you a link on how you can participate in that. Okay? Have a great day. Don't let your negative beliefs